How do you get someone, Andrew Weissmann? How do you get under their skin? How do you even prepare to do that? Has he watched every interview that Cohen has ever done? Do you look over and over and over again at the congressional testimony? Do you just hammer? How do you do that if that's your goal, and should that be his goal?
You can try to get under his skin, but there's enough video of him to play to the jury of what he was like when he was working for Donald Trump. There are enough inconsistent statements, including from essentially a New York Minute ago, as Catherine has pointed out, of his saying all sorts of derogatory things about Donald Trump. So you can show the jury a very different side, even if Michael Cohen is disciplined, it doesn't show it himself. But at the end of the day, look, this is all theater. At the end of the day, the closing is going to be, did Michael Cohen and Allen Weisselberg keep this from Donald Trump? Because there is dispositive evidence. It's just not really plausible to think that Michael Cohen and Allen Weisselberg did not do this, right? I mean, Michael Cohen is saying he did this. I mean, he's saying, I'm bad, I did this. There's tons of corroboration that he did this. Allen Weisselberg, as Duncan said, is on notes showing that he knew about this. So the issue is, would they do this behind Donald Trump's back? And that's where I think the state, is going to flip the script on this and say, you know what, you're saying how awful he is and how venal and how he's not, somebody who is going to be doing something out of the goodness of his heart, that he's motivated by self-interest. It would not make any sense for Allen Weisselberg and Michael Cohen to have done this behind Donald Trump's back. They would have everything to lose and nothing to gain.
Donald Trump just walked back into the courtroom, joined by his son, Eric, his wife, Lara, also the co-chair of the RNC, as we mentioned before. Boris Epstein's also there. Alina Habba is there. Todd Blanche, clearly you can see. Who I'm not seeing are any of the senators or the, Speaker Mike Johnson or the wannabe VP running mates that we saw a little bit earlier today. They seem to have got their fill in the morning session of the court, not sticking around, it seems, unless they come in a bit later, for the cross-examination point. We will wait and see to confirm that. One of the questions that we had, and we talked about this before we went to break, we talked about it during the break, ending with Michael Cohen. Good idea, bad idea, risky?
So I'm fascinated because you have a really great panel here of experienced folks. I mean, I think it's risky in the sense that that's not how I would end a case, because, you just don't know how cross-examination is going to go. I'm really interested because we don't have the exact transcript yet to see, was there any wiggle room in the way this was represented to Judge Merchan that it is the last witness, or it's our intent that this will be our last witness? Was there anything to suggest that?
Steinglass told Merchan that Cohen will be the final prosecution witness.
Is that that's a partial transcript? Okay.
So, this afternoon.
That is.
He could have said we expect, or perhaps.
No, he didn't. He said Michael Cohen will be the final prosecution witness. So now, can they change their mind?
They
depending
could,
on.
Oh, it does suggest to me that they think that he's doing well. You have the way they presented him is. It's almost like a mini summation. I mean, they wrapped all of the corroboration around his testimony, which you don't really have to do. There are other ways to have presented him. And so it really was sort of a preview of kind of what you're going to hear in summation and talking about all the corroboration. This is such an experienced team that I hate to sort of second guess it because we don't know all of the other choices they had. But let's just say it's not typical to end with that witness. Normally, you have a sort of easy witness who presents documents, things that really can't be challenged. The documents don't lie.
We want to squeeze in a break before we start the cross-examination, but I want to give you both a quick opportunity. Would you have ended with Michael Cohen? Strategically, does it make sense to you?
I agree with Andrew, and I said to Duncan, I thought they were going to call an expert in federal election law, so the jury's just supposed to figure it out on their own.
But we were talking about this. Are they going to do federal election law, or is it going to be a state elections violation?
I still think you need something for the jury, so they're not sitting back there and saying, okay, what is that other crime he intended to commit or conceal. They talked about him pleading to federal, but they didn't really explain what that was, just that it was illegal. And I mean, but, you know, they made a strategic choice. I think they've said that the New York election law conspiracy to promote an election by unlawful means, that would be the crime. Earlier on, Josh Steinglass said that was
Mershon is back on the bench. He calls for the witness 2 minutes early. So that's going to start coming in strategically. Good move.
The defense is going to make a big deal about all the witnesses we didn't hear from. You didn't hear from Karen McDougal. You didn't hear from Alan Weisselberg. Where are they? Why are they not here? So there are 2 ways to call Michael Cohen. You could call him as the first narrator who's going to bring it forward, or you could call him as the last one. And he ties it all up. I think the question is, who else are they going to call? I don't disagree. They need to supply something to the jury on this elections issue, but he's a good person to wrap it all up, almost like a mini closing argument through his witness testimony.
And now we're going to hear what Todd Blanche has to say. A source with knowledge of the situation is telling NBC News Blanche has been preparing for this cross for months. What does that look like? What does that preparation look like?
The preparation is such a huge record. Michael Cohen is an uncontrollable witness for the DA's office. He's not a typical witness. In a typical case, the DA says to a witness, keep your mouth shut and you'll be heard at trial and don't say anything. This is a witness who, like Stormy Daniels, has been on podcasts. He's been writing books. He's been writing blogs. He is out there. He has congressional testimony. There is a huge, rich collection of things that they can cross-examine him on. He has gone to jail. He has a conviction. They are pouring through not only the criminal record and all of that. They're really trying to get under his skin with facts and in his background, and they have a lot to work with.